Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today we are back in the basement for part 3 of this series where we have taken this basement from a complete disaster, chaos, to finally clean and organized. There's just a few areas left that I wanted to tackle, and I figured I would take you along with me. If you have any spaces in your home that are incredibly overwhelming for you right now, I promise that you can get them clean and organized. It is going to take time. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration to tackle some areas in your own home. Let's get started. I cannot even begin to tell you how much of an eye-opening experience transforming this basement has been for me. I never realized how much stuff we had in there. I just kept thinking that something must be wrong with me. Why can't I get this organized and clean and keep it that way? But it's obviously just because we had way too much stuff down here, and even watching these videos back, I am amazed and appalled at how much we actually had, and it's just no wonder that I could never actually keep it organized. So this has been a great experience overall. So I've been trying to work through this freezer and go through as much as we could without really replacing anything, knowing that we were buying the new freezer, but I'm sure that there's going to be some things in here that need to be thrown away. But I'm going to go through today, put stuff into coolers. That way it'll kind of defrost over the next couple of days before the new one is delivered. The good thing is that most of this meat I know is pretty good. I just bought most of it over the last couple of months. Okay, 821, I think I'll get rid of these. I'm putting everything that I'm throwing away into this black bag, but I will show you at the end what we are going to throw away. This freezer is super old. We actually bought it off Facebook Marketplace about, I don't know, 13 or 14 years ago for $100, and it's lasted us a long time, and it really did do its job. It still worked, but clearly all of the freezer burn and everything that accumulated in there just made it really difficult to actually see what we had. Even though I did defrost it occasionally, it obviously wasn't enough, so therefore things got stuck to the bottom and freezer burned sooner than they should have. So I did have to throw quite a bit away. But now that we have the new freezer, I am super grateful for that. We can actually see everything that we have. Everything is very organized, and I am so grateful to have that now in the basement. It's just going to make meal planning and keeping things that I want in there so much easier going forward. My other goal was to be able to make more freezer meals and put those in there in a place where I could actually see them and store them, because as you can see, there really wasn't any room to put any kind of big dishes into this freezer. This used to be an area of the house that I absolutely hated. I hated coming down there, and I had to do it several times a day. So every single time I was down in that space, I just felt disgusting. I hated it. I hated everything about it. So being able to take the time to really go through it and decide to let go of as much as we did and just get everything reorganized, cleaned up, repainted, made such a huge difference in how the entire house feels now. And it's actually motivated me, I think, to even let go of more. Now I want to start focusing again on the kitchen and the bathroom, and I think I'm even ready to let go of a lot more things just because I see the benefits, and they have greatly impacted my life in just so many different ways that I've realized I don't want as much stuff as we have. I am ready to let even more go because I see how much happier I am with less stuff, how much easier it is to keep everything clean and tidy, and how much more space my family now has to live in our home. We don't live in a huge home, and that used to really bother me. But the more I do this, the more that I see we actually have plenty of space. And if we're keeping what we need and then some, because we still have plenty of things that are extras or duplicates of things that we use on a regular basis, and we still have plenty of room in the house, we actually have everything that we need. We have shelter, we have plenty of food, we have each other, which is obviously the most important thing. Our son just came home for the holidays, and it was so great to have him home for a couple of weeks. Um, and he obviously enjoyed the space as well. The butter over to my dad's freezer. He made some space in his freezer that we could use. I clearly have an irrational fear of running out of butter, but honestly, it does last quite a while in the freezer. We use it all the time, so I do like having plenty of it stocked up and ready to be used. I'm just going to put these into the fridge. These are just some egg breakfast sandwiches. And this we're going to use for dinner tonight. And this I'll throw in the freezer as well. So we're all emptied out here. We're just going to let this drain. Keep checking on it. And then let me just show you what we did throw out. We pretty much got a full black trash bag to throw out. And here's everything that I'm going to be throwing away. Honestly, I don't think it's as bad as I thought it was going to be. The only thing that kind of sucks is like the chicken and the steak or beef, whatever that is. But I definitely thought there was going to be more that I was going to have to throw away. So not too bad. And then those two things there, I'm also going to throw away, the flashlight and that kerosene stuff. Okay, and here is the new freezer. I absolutely love this thing so much. It is amazing to have everything nice and organized. I did go to Walmart and purchase some new bins that I had thought really hard about getting, what I wanted to put in there, how I wanted to organize things before going out and buying them. And it has made such a huge difference in how organized it is. I knew that if I just started throwing things in there like they had been before, that it was going to make it more difficult to get things reorganized later. I figured since everything was already in the coolers, it just made sense to purchase the bins. Plus, it also limits me in how much I can buy. So now I have a container for the ground beef, a container for the chicken. When that is full, I can no longer go out and purchase more until that starts to empty out. So I think it's really going to reduce the amount of waste that we have in the future. Plus, I have room for everything else in there that I need. I do think it's important to reiterate that I did buy all of these things in December before my no buy January, and I thought really hard about getting them before purchasing them to make sure that I wasn't just buying bins that were not going to be used. So we've now had this freezer for I think about a week and a half or so, and it has just been truly life-changing to be able to come down into that space and have a place for everything, plus room to grow. So when I do freezer meals, I know exactly where I can put them. I have a place for the quick freezer meals that sometimes the kids will eat, and I still have plenty of space on the doors that is still not filled, and I plan to keep it that way. I've also been able to keep the freezer in our kitchen organized since doing that. I had that video up a couple of weeks ago, and it has just made such a huge difference in meal planning and meal prepping and doing all of that kind of stuff, being able to see exactly what we have. And I think that has, again, just really made me want to reorganize a couple things in the kitchen, in the bathroom, just because everything is easier when there's less stuff, right? You can maneuver around things. You can see exactly what you have. Everything is just easier. And I just want to really simplify my house even more this year. I am very excited to do that. So let me know, do you have an organized freezer? Are you able to keep it that way? Do you use bins in your freezers? Because I've never really done that before, and it's made all the difference in the world. I am always looking for new freezer meals to make for my family, so if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear about them in the comments. I do things like the pasta dishes, lasagna, um, shepherd's pie, things like that. But if you have any new ideas, I would love to hear about them because we're always looking for new ways to make life a little bit easier during the week when we are all busy. Okay, it is done. Let me show you. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Okay. Sorry, there was just a lot of background noise. I had the washer and dryer going, but what I did was I used the couple of big baskets for the ground beef and chicken, which I buy the most of. I have another one for pork, another one for kielbasa, sausage, bacon, things like that. And a little bit later on in the video, I will go through and label these baskets. The one in the back for the pork, I probably will change out for a smaller one. I just didn't realize how many pork chops I had left. So we don't typically use that many. So I will most likely go back and change out that basket. This is another day. Again, another item that I had purchased back in December. I knew that I wanted something different for the laundry. For the most part, I do the loads of laundry and we don't really keep them in the baskets down here, but there are some things that I like to keep, like my husband's whites if we don't have enough to do a full load, and towels. So I did want something just that looked nicer. I figured, you know what, if I redid this entire basement, I deserve to have something pretty to look at. So I really do like this thing. It was very inexpensive from Amazon and I just can set it up. I now have a matching baskets to look a little bit prettier down in that space, and it functions well. And then I ended up kind of sprucing up that space just a little bit using other things that I already had in the house. This hamper was super easy to put together, and I really like the way that it looks down here. And I was able to declutter both of those baskets now. The wicker one we've had for so long. It was all bent and damaged, and the other one was old as well, so it was just nice to be able to get those out of my house. I'm not sure if you're able to see, but by the freezer, there is some damage again to the floor. Unfortunately, when we were defrosting it, we had to like literally take a hammer and chop all of the ice out, and it was just leaking all over the place. Good thing I keep a lot of our old towels because of all the flooding and the dog and things like that. It's always good to have a bunch of old towels that aren't being used all the time, just in case. So there was a ton of water on the floor. And unfortunately, when the freezer got moved out and the new one got put in, it did get scratched. So just around that area, my husband needs to go through and repaint that one section, but he is going to do that. He didn't want to do it when our son was here, just because the paint supplies and stuff are still in that room. So we will go through and just kind of repaint that area on the floor. What I'm doing here is I had this bucket of things like that I use mostly for Christmas time, around Christmas baking. It's all of my cookie cutters, my cookie presses. I was actually planning to declutter some of the cookie cutters that I had. I just couldn't do it. I had gotten rid of so many and I only kept the ones that I really liked. I had space in this container for them, so right now I decided to keep them. I'm hoping eventually to get back to doing some more cookie decorating. I'll try to find a couple of pictures to throw up of some cookies that I've done in the past, but for now I decided to keep them. This bin was a little bit bigger, so I wanted to put all of our first aid supplies in there. This also has gone way down in size. I think I used to have 3 large Tupperware containers filled with this kind of stuff. Eventually, I put it into this brown one, but this thing is a piece of junk, this brown Tupperware container. It literally falls apart. It's probably my fault too, because some of the things in there at one point were really heavy and they probably weighed down the drawers too much. But it was just a piece of junk and I decluttered that. That is gone. And now everything that we have for like first aid supplies are in this bin. I can easily get to it. It's not even things that we use on a regular basis, but I think just having the mindset of having them just in case, it's stuff that is not going to go bad. I got rid of all of the expired medications and things like that. So I'm okay just keeping one bin now of first aid supplies just in case we do need them. But it was nice to kind of clear up this little corner here. My plan next to the freezer where this stuff used to be is to find some sort of like a hutch or something for all of the things to the right in those Tupperware containers and that black shelving piece there. I would like to try to find something to hold all of that stuff, like a white pantry or something. And maybe I can fit it next to the freezer just to kind of clear up that space a little bit and get everything combined into one unit. But that's something I'm going to be on the lookout for over the next few months. I've been checking out like Facebook Marketplace because I'd rather not buy something new if I don't have to. People are always getting rid of those types of things. The only thing that's hard is now that I've gotten rid of my minivan, it's a little harder to fit everything into my car. So here's some of the stuff that I threw away, and look at that thing just fell apart when I was lifting it. My son saw it on the porch and he wanted to take it for his room. I told him no because it's literally just a piece of crap and needed to go into the trash. This white thing here, I used to have in my kitchen a long time ago, and I was kind of just using it for like onions and potatoes and random things. So I decided instead to make it into something next to the laundry just to kind of make it a little bit easier to access some of those things. So I just wanted to clean it up and get it ready for that. Recently, Dawn from the Minimal Mom put out a new video, and it was really eye-opening to listen to that video, basically just saying that once our basic needs are met, anything else is unnecessary and in fact does not bring us joy and happiness like we might think it's going to. And I have found that to be so true over these last couple of years. In fact, getting rid of most of my stuff has actually been what's brought me the most joy. I used to think that the more I had, the happier I would be if I could just buy the new thing, if I could just organize it right and get it, good the way that everyone else seems to be able to organize their things, then I would be happy. And that is so not true. Obviously, yes, I still have things. I think we all need certain things in our lives and we're all different. So those could be different for all of us. But I would definitely have to agree that once our basic needs are met, that's pretty much all we really need to be happy. So again, that is really just going to be my focus this year, is to focus on continue decluttering. It has also brought me a lot of peace in my finances. Since doing this, obviously, I've been able to gain control again of our finances. And that has just made all the difference in the world, because I used to just spend money on a bunch of useless stuff that I did not need. It was such a waste of money and time and energy to try to organize those things, keep those things clean, fix them when they had to be fixed. So it's just another year of, again, simplifying and just trying to be a lot happier and save a lot more money going forward. So I had picked up these rugs from Boutique Rugs, and I think I told you in my video where we redid the entryway that the rugs are definitely smaller than I think they say they are. These are supposed to be 4x6. I don't believe they are, unless I'm completely wrong when I'm doing things with the measuring tape. But I ended up ordering 3 of them. It takes them a while to completely get flat. I do have some tape that I'm going to try to put on the bottoms of them. But for right now, I've just been, using things on all the corners to keep them down. The other 2 have been down for a while, so they're completely almost flattened out. But I will still tape those down. I just won't do the one in front of the freezer until after my husband repaints. Obviously, I don't want to have to pull it right back up again. But they're a little smaller than I wanted them to be. So here's a few more things that I'm going to get rid of. All of those Tupperware containers are not being used anymore. The other one doesn't have a lid, and that one's broken on the left. That candy is old. I'm going to throw it away. This piece here is from the old freezer. And then also this yellow pole here, I don't even know what that's for. I am going to take that down, get rid of it so I can put my mop up there on the holder. So I just used my label maker to make a few of the labels for things that we use all of the time that I know I'm going to keep there. It'll make it easier when other people are also looking for different things in the freezer. And I still have room to add things if we need to, or if I decide to change some things around, I can do that. But here it is. I have the onions and potatoes on the top. I figured that would be the best spot for them. And then here's the freezer. Again, I've added some things since I did the first part of the video, but not much, and I still have plenty of room. I cannot say it enough how much I absolutely love this freezer. We have been needing one for a long time. It was definitely something that we probably should have gotten sooner, but I am very thankful to have it now. And then I'm going to show you some clips here of what, again, the basement used to look like before I kind of started all of this. And this is not even what it was like at its worst. This was after maybe a year and a half of decluttering. This is kind of what it looked like all of the time. It was just always messy and dirty and dark and very depressing to be in for any length of time. So I just wanted to throw this in here so if you haven't seen my videos, you'll kind of know where my basement was when we decided to even start this project. Very difficult to find things, very difficult to keep organized or clean. And I will show you what it looks like now. And it has been like this now for a couple of weeks, other than this last couple things that I fixed. And I love this space now. It just feels so much cleaner and brighter, and it has been staying clean and organized, and it's just so much easier to find everything that I need to find. And when I'm down here doing laundry, I don't mind it. Our next room is going to have to be our son's old room, but that'll be in the spring. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate you being here. I would love it if you would subscribe, like the video. It does help out the channel quite a bit. And again, once the rug starts to stay down, I will take that stuff off the corners and use the tape to keep it down on the floors. But I really wanted them to be able to move around easily so I could clean them, vacuum underneath them, and things like that. So I didn't want the rugs to be under any kind of furniture, so that was really important to me, but I do think it helps to brighten up the space just having the lighter colored rugs. Thank you again. I will see you in the next video. Bye.